Well, hello, hello, hello. This is Donna Reiners, and I am subbing for Peter Ngo, who's usually in the know on this day every week. 2:30 Central, 1:30 Mountain, 12:30 Pacific, and of course, 3:30 Eastern. And so it's always a blessing to sub for him. I count it an honor to be here with y'all, and thank you for trusting me with this time. It's a blessing. And Jenny's gonna co-host for me to let people in. And thank you so much. And we are live on Facebook through my phone, because that's the way we do our sneaky stuff. I'm just saying. So glad you're here. I am also going to do, it's going to try to do, well, we'll just see how it works. I do have a couple of videos I'm going to show today. And so, there's a little link where it says view at the top right if you're on a desktop. I don't know where it is on a phone, where you can make it so that the person speaking is the person that you have your whole screen on, if you're interested in seeing the videos. Otherwise, they're really more listening anyway. So it's whatever you want to do. You feel free. Shoot, when I do speaker, I can't even see me. I see somebody else. So yeah, I don't think it matters. And so blessings. We do have 4 parts to today. And that includes basically just a short part on the basics of business. But today we're focusing on the ROI, which is the return of investment. But today our focus is on the return of investment on our thought life, on what our thoughts do for us and what they don't do for us, right? Because there's some things, our thoughts, we need to capture and get a hold of ourselves in some areas so we can see a return of investment later down the road, right? And so we're going to have a little bit of basics of business for visualization. Number 1, we're going to talk about how our thoughts are power. We're going to talk about the power of follow-up. Talk about long-term messaging in our own soul and our body, and specifically in our brain. I'm not getting too sciencey. I think David Schmidt does a great idea of being sciencey. I'm not going to join that. And then also, what do we think and we feel all day long? What are our thoughts? What are the messages we send to ourselves? And so that's what today is focused on. And so first of all, the practical part, the basics of any business is, if you've just started in business, of course, you have to set goals. That's just how it works, guys. You have to have some kind of goal in your life. You need a goal for your health, your personal health. You need a goal for your financial health. You need a goal for your mental health. And you probably need to go for your social health, your friendship health, your relational health, right? So we need to set short-term goals. We need to set long-term goals. And we need to break them down into little smaller tasks so we can track our progress. And we need to lead ourselves. We look for other people to lead us. We look for Peter to lead us. We look for Marcy, for Dr. Stacy, for April, for Charity, for David Schmidt, for Garrett, for Geraldo, for whoever I've forgotten. I apologize, but we look for all these. We look for our sponsors to lead us. We look for leadership, and that's a good thing. But honestly, the only person who can lead us is ourselves. We're the ones who have to eventually pick up the rein to lead ourselves. And so leading ourselves by example, to me, is really when we start to grow and we start to mature and we start to develop ourselves. We start to really develop ourselves. So today is going to be a little different. It may challenge some of you. Some of you may go, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. If you'll just hang with me, that'd be a blessing. And then there's some of you like, well, I do this all the time. And then there's some of us that maybe just need to incorporate a little bit into your actual business. So today I would like for you, if you would please, just take a deep breath and breathe out. Now I can't hear you, but you can hear me breathing. Take a deep breath and then breathe out. Now I see some of your noses, but I don't see your mouth breathing out. Listen, breathe in and then breathe it out. Some of you are carrying a lot of stress. Do you know your breath actually controls your central nervous system? Did you know scientifically you can take a space where you're breathing so fast and you're so anxious, you can actually take your own thoughts into a place of stability just by breathing? So I encourage you, this is not ooey gooey spiritual stuff. This is scientific, physical things for your physical body. So just breathe in and breathe out. And then when you think about your why, what has been your why for this stage in your life? I've been using the technology for 3 years. I've been working the business for 3 years. I've been serving people for 3 years. And there's lots of things that are going on behind the scenes in all of our lives that nobody knows about, right? That we're also moving and grooving in. And sometimes you just need to take a deep breath and remember, what's your why? With me, I had a why, but do you know my why has changed multiple times since I started? Why? Because I'm developing and I'm changing. I'm turning into a different person. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. And I know that as we move forward in life, we really do become different people if we really do employ stages of developing ourselves, developing our business, developing our goals, developing our lives, because this is a multi-million-dollar business, guys. And everybody starts at the same place. Binary qualified, become a manager and make managers. That's it. We all start at the same place. And we all continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. But in the meantime, on the inside, we're making changes because we're interacting with more people. We're beginning to lead more people. Some people leave us. Sometimes we leave people. We really start developing ourselves. So I would like for you to visualize your why and then ask yourself, is it the same why you had when you started? And if you've just started, then capture your why that's your why today. You know, my first why changed in 4 months. When I first started in June, in August, September, I picked up a new why. In January, I picked up another why. And I literally changed. So don't think that whatever why you have, if you've been only this for 6 months, that it can't change. It can change. You need to grab a hold of the why that works for you. Doesn't work for your upline, doesn't work for your best friend, doesn't work for the hand of the person you've taken to work your business. It doesn't. It may not. Find out your own why, because your own why is what keeps you at 2 o'clock in the morning when nobody's there to hold your hand, when you're having health issues you can't tell anybody about, when your friend is having health issues you can't break through with, and you're the only one. So get a hold of your why, and then look at the goals it's going to take to complete that why until your why changes. And just don't be afraid of your why changing. Oh my goodness. I believe when your why changes, it's because you're developing. It's because you're changing and you're maturing. You're maturing in business. You're maturing in your health. One thing that technology has done for me, really, it does make you mature in your health, because when those wavelengths start hitting you and your body starts regulating in different ways, you're like, whoa, well, I didn't know this could happen. All of a sudden, you're having to take responsibility for you even in a different way. You didn't even know, because your body has never done what it's doing. And when you stay on it long enough and you see the fruit of it, it's pretty stinking powerful, guys. And then when there's days when you see no fruit and you're like, well, what the heck? I'm doing this and this and this and this and this. What has happened? Don't worry, you'll turn another corner. Just stay with it, because it's your own body working anyway. So be patient with your own body while your body makes changes, while your body's doing deep repair on things you don't even know were an issue. And maybe it's keeping you from something that might be coming up 15 years down the road and you don't know anything about it today. That's why you just stay with the program, even if you think it's not working, because it's working, because you're alive and your body's working. That's how you know it's working. I want you to visualize yourself completing your goals. I want you to picture yourself as genuinely as you can, not just completing your goals, but also who are you while you're completing your goals? And who do you want to be? You know, who I was 3 years ago, I think back, I'm like, wow, I really was immature in the work of network marketing. I was immature as an entrepreneur. I was immature as a business person. You know, I was immature in so many ways. I'm more mature today, but I sure don't know it all. I'm sure learning something new all the time. You know, there's some mistakes I made that I would never make today. There's some decisions I made early on that I would probably I've rethink today how I handled those, because now I'm changing and I'm growing. And there's some mistakes you could just never redo. So you just have to live with you and keep moving forward in the life that we're living, right? So picture yourself becoming who you want to be, whether it be in your health, your finances, your goals, the people you want to be around, the kind of business you want to build, the kind of life you want to have, the kind of health you really, truly want to have 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road. See yourself healthy, financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. See yourself stable. See yourself healthy. See you in your why succeeding. See yourself a week from now succeeding. Listen, we just watched a movie. I normally, you know, would not make all these, because it's very different. It's called The Hitman, and it's on Netflix. There's another Hitman out there. That's not the one. The one I'm talking about is on Netflix. It's pretty new. I can't remember the actor. We just watched it last night. Excuse me. And this person became a different person. And he literally along the way figured out who he wanted to be. And he studied the subconscious, and it was actually based on a true story. We found it at the end. You think it's a fiction. Sorry for ruining it, guys. But at the very end, you're like, oh my gosh, that was a real person? Because along the way, you're thinking, wow, what creative writing. And then at the end, you're like, oh my goodness, what a great idea to become who you want to become. So I want you to see yourself. Who do you want to be a week from now? Who do you want to be a year from now? 2 years from now? 5 years from now? And what will it take? You know, it may not take a whole bunch of work, but what if it just takes a mental change for you regarding who you are and what you want to be? And, you know, I'll give you an example for me. I'm studying something right now, and it's for the future. And I look at that, and in my soul, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to learn this. It's a whole new language. Am I going to survive this? What am I thinking? It reminds me of the 80s when I went to school right after my mom passed away. My mind was shut down. I could barely function. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm getting triggered. I don't even know if I can do this. So I've had to literally quickly employ wait. I learned quickly, wait, I can receive information. I've been telling myself, listen, I can listen to this information while I'm asleep, and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to know what I listen to. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm telling myself that so that I don't have to just, you know, if you have some ground outside, you got to dig a hole and you got to dig and dig. I'm telling myself, no, Donna, you don't have to dig a hole in cement. You can receive, you can learn, you can change. So tell yourself, who do you want to see when you look in the mirror in this life wave business? Do you like you? Are you happy with you? Don't lie to yourself. If you're not happy with you, make a change. Change who you are. Change who you want to become. And if you think, well, I can't do that, then you're being negative already. And you're right, you won't be able to. Make a change in how you see you. And when you make a change in how you see you, it's going to help you see other people differently, and it's going to help you live your business differently. And what do you like about yourself? What do you like about your why? And do you need a new why? These are lots of things. I know some of you are writing notes. I know I wrote a bunch of notes before I sat down with you. I don't get up here willy-nilly. I just really think through, God, what is there that I can give to help someone move forward in their life, personally, or in their business, professionally? What can be done today to help someone? And Jenny, if you happen to know, Jenny, if you know Marcy's number, will you text her and tell her I'm doing Peter Ngo for me?
I sure will.
Thank you. And so those are the thoughts. So now I want you to breathe in and breathe out again, because now we're going to move into a different, something different. Breathing in and breathing out. I'm curious, have any of you ever employed breathing in and breathing out, like breathing in slowly and exhaling? You know, that's like the latest rage, right? You know, the latest thing is tap into the subconscious. The latest thing is positive reinforcement, all these things. But really, truly, it's not new. There is nothing new. Breathing in and out is who we are. Breathing in and out is a privilege on this planet. And so, so breathe in and breathe out. And now I want to talk to you about how your thoughts are power and my thoughts are power. And someone did say that they saw that movie. It's a very interesting movie, guys. Very interesting. It makes you think through some things. It did me. Matter of fact, I was kind of upset, not like, I'm not watching this, upset, just kind of like, you know, this is getting really creative and I need to step away for a minute. I'm going to pick it up later, because it was just getting, but my husband, he stayed in there. I listened to him. And when I heard him say, oh my goodness, I thought, oh good, I'm glad I left. Then he came in and he's like, let me tell you what happened. And he told me the last 30 minutes, because that's when I left. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then to find out it was a real movie. So what I'm saying to you is this is your real life. You got a real life and I got a real life. What do we want to do with this thing we call Life Wave? Because it's going to matter what we do with us in order to do what we want to do with this. So, okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit because there is a video I'm going to show y'all. I'm hoping I can pull it off, to be quite frank. So give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. Tell her all is well. I've just, let me share my screen. And then, okay, Donna's going to switch gears here too. Creative, we're doing creative stuff here, guys. Let's see if we can roll with this. Okay. Right here. Did you see that the screen changed?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to try to start at the beginning, because, you know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. So here we go.
And I'm afraid of the.
Oh, well, it's not from the beginning, but we'll just listen till it is. Okay, here we go.
I'll release the same flood of hormones as the surgical procedure. In fact, I might release even more. If I think in my mind that I'm watching the sun, my pupils will dilate. If I think in my mind I'm into darkness, pupils will contract. If I think I'm holding some hot coals in my hand, the temperature will go up. If I think I'm holding ice in the hand, the temperature will go down. So every wisp of thought releases a flood of hormones and chemicals and chemical messengers, and every little cell in your body is eavesdropping on that.
If you're worried about something and you don't see any resolution to that, the worry about the experience causes as much problem as the actual experience.
If not more.
If not more.
If not more. The brain doesn't know the difference between an actual experience and an imagined experience. If I anticipate surgery and I'm afraid of the surgery, I'll release the same flood of hormones as the surgical procedure. In fact, I might release even more. If I think in my mind that I'm watching the sun, my pupils will dilate. If I think in my mind I'm in the darkness, pupils will contract. If I think I'm holding some hot coals in my hand, the temperature will go up. If I think I'm holding ice in the hand, the temperature will go down. So every wisp of thought releases a flood of hormones and chemical messengers, and every little cell in your body is eavesdropping on that.
If you're worried about something and you don't see any resolution to that, the worry about the experience causes as much problem as the actual experience.
If not more.
If not more.
If not more. The brain doesn't.
All right. That's some powerful stuff, y'all. This is the power of our mind. It's the power of our subconscious. It's the power of our thoughts. So since your brain doesn't know the difference, since my brain doesn't know the difference of our experience versus our words and intention, let's think for a minute about some practical things. What if you hate someone? What if you have a despise for someone? What if you have a despise for someone who's more successful than you? What if you have a despise for someone that got that person enrolled that you didn't get enrolled? What if you have a despise or a dislike that someone else got to go on vacation and you didn't? You know, or you told somebody about something and they did something with somebody else or what have you. You get your body, and my body doesn't know the difference that it's about them or ourselves. That's powerful, y'all. That's the power of our thought life. That's the power of what's inside of our minds. So when I say breathe in and breathe out and see yourself how you want to be, I mean it. See yourself healthy. See that issue in your body gone. You know, the majority of us who get into something like this, get into it because we have a health issue. I admit that wasn't the issue with me. My health issue had been the year before. So when I got involved, it was literally because I had studied the work of your body repairing. And it was so powerful that we were going to do our best to be able to employ those kind of things in our lives, but it was so expensive, we knew we couldn't, not long term. And then when we found out about the technology, like, whoa, we could do it in this kind of way versus the way that that we had accessed it the year before. It was so much less painless than those little shots, right? And so that wasn't why. But as I moved forward and I was thinking about how, you know, the year before had been, I was experiencing, actually, it had been 42 years, I believe, or 43 years that my mom had passed away. And that whole year I was ill, and I was actually the same age that my mom had been, see, when she was sick. And so I was experiencing some things cellularly that were very unusual that most people would not go through. It just happens to be the kind of life I live and the kind of vocation I'm involved in helping people with energy and that kind of thing. And so when I got involved in this and I saw, oh my goodness, how this can help people live longer, it just grabbed my heart. It grabbed my heart. And so for me, in 10 days, I saw my smell and taste came back. I saw some joy. In 40 days, I saw a change in my skin. In 5 months, I saw a change in my colon. In 6 months, my hormones were balanced. And then continue the journey. Even today, I'm experiencing things, and I've had bumps and bruises along the way. I've had ups and downs with my health. Why? Because my body's repairing long-term issues. If you hit bumps in the road, it's not because something's not working. It's because they're working. It's because they're finding things. That's a heads up for you to employ hydration, employ supplements, employ, just like David Schmidt talks about, hey, these are the kind of supplements you take for these kind of issues, right? And so it helps you up your game in your personal health. And that's the beauty of this technology for that. So along the way, you got to see yourself healthy. You got to see yourself becoming who you want to become, being who you want to become financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically even. Why? Because we have some patch technology that helps us with tightening our skin, with strengthening our muscles, with helping support our bones. There's so many things that technology helps our own body do. Why not visualize ourselves in the power of what it can help our bodies do? Why not be in agreement with the fullness that's in front of us and see it manifest inside of us, so our bodies think that's what's happening? Hey, that's amazing to me. And if you have a desire like we do to have retirement income, I'm visualizing the financial part. I'm visualizing the money. It might be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. It may not be as quick as some, but I'm fully expecting finances to come as part of the fruit of not just visualizing. Because listen, people who say just manifest, look, intention without action will not bring manifestation. So have your intention, have a mental picture, and then take action so that you can actually manifest mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. These are the things we develop in this beautiful business. So now also, I want to talk about another area. Let's see, did I miss? Nope. Okay. The other part I want to talk about is the follow-up and the follow-through. The long-term return of investment that comes when you follow up and you follow through instead of giving up. You know, I just had someone today enroll, someone I had talked to 2 years ago, but I stayed in contact with them. I didn't really even talk to them about the technology that much anymore. I just stayed in contact. Why? Because I actually care about this person. We're not close friends. I've never met them face to face, but they have an impact on my life online. And so I've stayed in contact. And because of that, guess what? Just over the weekend, they contacted me and said, hey, are you still involved with XYZ? I said, well, I sure am. I said, well, you know what? I'm interested. And even when I asked, well, is there something going on with you? It's like, no, actually, I'm extremely healthy. I'm just thinking of preventative. I'm like, boom, chakalaka. That's the kind of person I want to enroll. Somebody who understands the long-term health and not just, I got a problem I need fixed. Because the people who have a problem that need to be fixed, when they don't get it fixed, they think the patch technology is default. And it's not. It's the body taking its time to do what the body needs to do internally that you don't even know is happening inside. I had someone just yesterday unenroll. Why? Because they didn't get what they want after 6 months. But guess what? Guess what else is happening in that? Because I'm extremely straightforward. Some of you know I'm very straightforward. Some people don't like that. But when they said, you know what, we're not getting the results that we expect, that what I want. So that means not only is she getting off of it, but her husband's going to get off of it now too, because she's the leader. And I thought to myself, well, I remember the health activity tracker that I made sure you had. And I know what I wrote down and the changes that took place in your body, because I called her every week to follow up and follow through what's happening with her. I'm like, oh, I just called, hey, how you doing today? What's going on? And, you know, after 3 weeks, when your husband is noticing that you're not grunting and groaning, getting out of bed, there must be some kind of changes taking place in you physically. But now 6 months, what is it? She's not getting the issue handled with something specific. So I left her a beautiful voice message. Hi, I canceled your monthly. I just want to remind you of the changes that took place, and I named them. And then I said, and so please be on the lookout for the next 6 months to 8 months to a year. If any of those things reappear, please know it's because your body no longer is getting the wavelength to tell your body to do what it needs to do at this stage in your life, because you need it at this stage in your life, because as we've already previously discussed, how the restoration of the body slows down due to inflammation. And I just left her a very kind, loving reminder of what the technology does so that she can remember. And I ended it with, so please give me a call when you're ready to get back with us. Why? Because I can almost guarantee within 4 months, she's going to be texting me and saying, hey, can we go ahead and get back on the tech, because she's full of inflammation. She's full of inflammation, and she's going to see it quickly. And so I just know that it will be to her betterment that she shift back, and I believe she will. Why? Because I invested myself in the follow-up and the follow-through and continuing relationally with her, even though she's never going to be a builder. These people have a lot of money and they're just don't care. And that's fine. But I care about her as a person. So I want to show you the next thing I have in my heart. See if I can get into this. There we go. Now, this is on the power of follow-up. I loved this. Oh my goodness. I got to tell you, I really did. And I did. So let me go back in here. I'm going to go in here now. I'm going to share again. And we're going to start this one now. Y'all ready?
2009, I met a person in Starbucks. She was looking for an apartment, uptown, rentals. And I introduced myself because that's what I did. I had no shame. I had no money, so I had no shame. So I met this girl, and I showed her some things for rent, and then she got her husband involved. They're in New Jersey, and then they wanted to see some things possibly for sale because if they could spend money on the rent, then they should look for sale. And their budget was like $1 million, and then it was kind of like $2 million. And I showed them a bunch of things to sell, and then they totally vanished off the face of the earth. Follow up with them every other week. I send them both, listings every other week. Fast forward to 2017. And he finally writes me back after following up with him every other week. He writes me back and says, hey, sorry, I've been a little bit busy. Got your emails. Let's talk. Phone with him. And to make a long story short, he got divorced. He's been really busy building his business in New York City. And he wants his own place now. He has a lot of other people, a lot of brokers, but I was super persistent and he wants to give me a shot. He's like, oh, good. Good thing you stayed in touch with me. And next week I sold him an apartment on West Broadway in Soho for $16 million. It's 2017. And this past June, I sold him a house in Hamptons for $40 million. And then I sold the ex-wife a house for $16 million because I followed up every other week. And so I tell people that story now. I mean, it literally just happened because everyone's like, yeah, I follow up all the time. I'm like, no, I don't think you do. 2009, I met a person in Starbucks. She was looking for an apartment, uptown, rentals. And I introduced myself because that's what I did. I had no shame. I had no money, so I had no shame. So I met this girl, and I showed her some things for rent, and then she got her husband involved. They're in New Jersey, and then they wanted to.
All right. Interesting, huh? Listen, the power of follow-up. Now, granted, he's had no shame and he had no money, but that sale was a lot of money. I thought, wow, dude, you gotta had some kind of money to sell that kind of house. You're dealing with some big stuff. But all these sales that we make are big stuff to some people, and they turn into big stuff when you stay with it long enough, right? So I just encourage you, I encourage myself to follow up, to follow through, to continue to follow up and to follow through. If someone says, I'm really not interested in this, I just don't want to do that, just maybe say, you know what, I sure understand. Do you mind if I stay in contact with you? Because I just have appreciated talking with you, and I'd love to send you something ever so often on health. Would that be okay? And then just continue the journey with them from a non-sales standpoint. Don't tell them you're going to be your educator for the next 5 years because you're just guaranteeing that they're going to come back online with you. Instead, just love on them. You might be the only person who they feel even cares about them. You just never know what's happening on the inside, right? So there's a return on investment on your health. And sometimes it takes years to recalibrate. It took years for that person, and what happened with all of that follow-up and follow-through. It took a while for that return on investment to come back, but he stayed with it. So there is a return of investment for visualizing. There's a return on investment for your follow-up and your follow-through with people. So what does that mean? That means you need to have a list. You know, what are the basics with Marcy? Make a list, check it twice. Well, no, that's Santa, but make a list. And maybe the people that follow off, maybe put a little note, hey, stopped monthly. Whatever you need to do to keep up. Some people get too busy and they can't keep up. Now, see, I use my phone more than I use a book now. But I have a pile of books. This, you can't even see how many books I have. I still go back through those books and I pull names and I revisit with people, but the majority of people are in my phone. And so I go through my phone.
We're just doing the cleaning today. So no extra.
So I go through my phone and I work at that. And then
Yeah.
I work on the phone and I keep people, I keep following up and following through with them because I have the last time I communicated with them in my phone, you see, in my phone. And so if you're that kind of person, you'll have the same thing. So don't give up on people. Don't give up on yourself. Don't think you failed. You haven't. People's lives have a lot of ups and downs. We all do. We all have ups and downs that are so crazy. Some people don't have any idea the ups and downs that go on with our own personal lives, you know. And then this was something else I saw that I really appreciate. I hope it's okay to bring you a few videos today. It's so fascinating to me what it was just fascinating to me. They just all hit home with me. They hit home with me. And I have another one I want to show. This one is really old school, I gotta admit. I'm like, wow, you are definitely old school. Let me pull it down a little bit so we can see it. All right. I'm going to show you this one next, and then we'll see what other shenanigans we can get into. All right. So my question is, what do you see yourself as? So here we go. We're going to listen to it a couple of times because I got to figure out a way to get the mute off. Okay.
He thinks about it. It was simple as that. We become, we think about it. This is why I'm going to so important. This is why people who say, well, it's achievement, the is not an achieving their goals. They do that. It's an establishment. That's the strangest secret. And finally, the strangest secret makes a child grow up into the human being he becomes. And this is the reason for that. Of course, he's the confluence of a genetic rule. What makes him become the person he becomes is that he becomes, he thinks about it. It's as simple as that. We become, we think about it. This is why I'm going is so important. This is why people who say, well, it's achievement, the is not an achieving their goals. They do that. It's an establishment. That's the strangest secret. And finally, the strangest secret makes a child grow up into the human being he becomes. And this is the reason for that. Of course, he's the confluence of a genetic rule. What makes him become the person he becomes is that he becomes, he thinks about it most of the time. It's as simple as that.
Donna, it was really hard to understand.
Oh, was it? Well, I'll just tell you what it said. It basically said, and if you did understand it, please put in there, I understood. What it said was, what makes a child become what they are supposed to become? And what a child becomes is what they think about all day long. And so I say to you and me, what are we thinking about all day long? What do we think about all day long? Because if your mind is involved in things that cause you to be negative, that cause you to feel like you're sick all the time, that cause you to feel discouraged, that cause you to feel like you don't fit in, that cause you to feel like you'll never be a part of the group. Or, you know I have some friends that are frequenting some like some network marketing meetings. And they've been out of the game for a long time. And truth is, some of them have never even been in the network marketing game. And I'm talking about the face-to-face game. And they're really uncomfortable and they're very insecure and they don't really know what to do or how to do it. And it shows. So they don't feel like they fit in and they don't feel like anybody likes them. And they don't feel like anybody wants to be around them. And it's not true. That's not what people are thinking. Why? Because people aren't thinking about them. See, they're so busy thinking about themselves and how they don't fit in and how they've been out of the game and all these things, that's what's going with them. That's the energy going with them. That's the thoughts going with them into those situations where they're one-on-one with people or 1-on-20 or 1-on-50 or what have you. I got several friends doing several different things like that because they like people and they want to be with people again. You know, they just want to be with people again. They don't want to just do online. They want to return to the, hey, how are you? Give me a hug and I want a friend mode. But they're having difficulty. So I'm just helping them work out the mental shenanigans out of their brain so that they will be more effective when they walk in a room. So my last encouragement was, well, instead of going in and wanting someone to reach out to you, why don't you just go up to somebody and say, and do what Marcy does. Hi, I'm Donna. What's your name? And just pretend like you're not insecure. Pretend like you fit in. Pretend like everybody wants you there. Pretend like that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And then you'll feel like you are too. And think of it that way. Think of it that way. And so I want you to, we're gonna have one more video. I know you're like, y'all been lots of videos today, and I sure hope you can hear this one. Some people did understand them. Okay, there's enough people understanding them. If you didn't understand them, you can privately reach out to me in Facebook, and you know what I can do is I can put these inside the comment section on the Facebook Live. I'll put the videos there, okay? And that's where you can find them, in the Evolve Facebook group. Okay, anyway, there's one more I want to watch that was very impactful to me. I shared it with some friends who are going through a very, very, very dark time. They just really have forgotten who they are, and they're very depressed, and they're at a place of just giving up. And I thought, well, you know, I'm not the girl that you call to go, oh, I'm so sorry, baby. I'm not the come into agreement with your death and dying thoughts girl. That's just not me. You know, I'm just not that person. And so I sent them this, and they're like, oh, snap. Into the right mind they came. And so I'm going to share it with you too. And so that's what we're going to do. If I have time, I will drop it in the chat here, and try to give people time to download them. But it would probably be better for me to do it in the other. So here we go. Now, bless y'all. This is intense. Don't shoot the messenger. Please don't shoot the messenger. But this was a wonderful reminder. A very wonderful reminder, y'all. So here we go. And then what I'd like to do is do some visualization if you're willing. That's what I'd like to do. And so here we are. Here we go.
But it's how we respond that defines us. You have been bestowed with countless blessings and opportunities. It's time to recognize the abundance in your life and channel that gratitude into purposeful action. Embrace the challenges, for they are the catalysts for growth and self-discovery. Rise above your limitations and unleash your full potential. What's your excuse in life? Look at this man without arms. Yet he isn't sitting around throwing a pity party and asking, why me? Instead, he's working with what he has, making an honest living. What is your excuse? You've got every reason to be grateful. You've got every reason to be thankful. You've got every reason to work hard with all that God has given you. Life presents us with challenges, but it's how we respond that defines us. You have been bestowed with countless blessings and opportunities. It's time to recognize the abundance in your life and channel that gratitude into purposeful action. Embrace the challenges, for they are the catalysts for growth and self-discovery. Rise above your limitations and unleash your full potential.
Oh, I know. I'm meddling now. Anyway, I know I'm meddling. I know I'm meddling. I know I'm meddling. But sometimes we just need a reminder. I wonder if he would be able to do those things if he saw himself incapable of doing them. You know, I just wonder. I don't know. There are many. We see stories of people that have really risen out of nothing, you know, and then we see stories of people that have tools, they have capabilities, but their mind is so influxed with the incapability part that they just say they can't, and they choose can't. But really, it's probably from a place of won't, if they were really honest. And so one thing I noticed that when I see myself say the word I can't, I've been correcting myself, saying I have not, or something like that. I have not yet. I've been attempting to change my language so that I can pull the can'ts out of my life, because a can't is a limitation. A can't is a incapability. A can't is limiting me, right? And so I'd like to just spend a few minutes for those who want to. If you don't want to, just hang if you can. I'll put the videos in when we're done. So you'll have to stay to the end to get that anyway. But I would like you to close your eyes and just take a deep breath in. Again, this is central nervous stuff. This is not woo-hoo, woo-hoo. This is scientific things. You can go online and find actual science involved in the power of the mind and the power of intention. And I just want you to exhale. And I want you to visualize life. I want you to visualize your body as light. I want you to visualize your body as being alive. I want you to visualize yourself doing things you have not felt like you've been able to do. And I want you in the inside in your intention. I want that visualization to be like a change of mind for you. Let that light, you know, your body is light. That is also scientific. If you can get yourself to the Houston Museum of Natural Science and go to the energy floor on the 4th floor and see all the information on how your body is made of light. And even those that move in the circle of Christianity, in our favorite book, there is a passage that says we are light. We are scientifically made of light. So see light coming not from out here. There are many energy healers that say, breathe in the light from the outside. No, absolutely not. You breathe in the light from the inside. You are made of light. Breathe in your own light. Breathe in your own life. See your own light in your own body. See your heart coming alive. See your kidneys coming alive. See your liver coming alive. See your brain coming alive. See your veins coming alive. See your pancreas coming alive. See your spleen coming alive. See your pituitary, your frontal lobes. See from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet coming alive with light, with life. And just say to yourself, and you can say it out loud, I am regenerated. My cells are regenerating, and I am regenerated. Why? We are in the technology of regeneration, y'all. Why don't we be in agreement with the very technology that we wear on a daily basis, that we are asking other people to wear on a daily basis? Intentionally, let's agree with regeneration. See your organs as vital life. Vital life. As a matter of fact, the energy enhancers, they cause your own chi, your own vital life to rise up and to function at a better space. When was it used? It was used for the Navy SEALs, used again in the Olympics, and now used all over the world with athletes and people like you and me to cause our own organs to function the way they should. So inhale deeply, see your own light, concentrate on those areas inside of you that you know might be considered a weakness inside you, but you're instead saying no more. I'm calling that into a strength, causing your own body to be strong. And receiving the blessing that comes with the life and the light that you're made out of. And you know, this is a little intense, but I've been studying a little bit of quantum science, and I learned that medical science studies 0.00001%. That's the medical part of us. Our anatomy, our blood, our veins, our organs, 0.00001%. What's the other 0.9999%? Our mind, our intention, the power that we have to lead ourselves into life and to light and to living. That patch technology that we so love, it functions on the inside of us at a nano level. It functions in an area where even gravity doesn't touch. You're in the right place at the right time with the right technology for the right season of life in this world, on this planet, in this dimension, in this dimension. And so I bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, and bless you again. Okay, I'm going to check through the messages for the last couple of minutes. Of course you can. Absolutely you can, Dr. Ray. Absolutely. There are some messages in the chat that it would be wonderful that people check out. There might be some links for you. And also I'm going to put the links that I talked about inside here for y'all. And then I will also, again, like I said, I will put them in the links for our, in the Evolve group when I get back in there, since I did go live on my phone. So if it's a little strange, it's because it's from my phone, guys. You know, it really is. It's from my phone. So this first link is from Instagram. Let's hope that y'all are able to do something with that. There's that one. And then this one is the second one that had to do with, this was on, come on. This was on Facebook, and this was the one on the return on investment of following through and following up. And then I know I have one more, just a moment, let me find it. Here it is. And then the gentleman, this is so powerful, y'all. It's so true. When you think about the power of our intention and the power of our thought life, it's so much more strongly than we know. And listen, I was thinking to myself over the weekend, I was thinking to myself, you know, we go to the medical grid to get advice and we do what we're told, right? We do what we're told. But guess what? We go to the holistic grid. We go to the holistic naturopaths and we ask for help and we do what we're told then also. So it's like we trade one system for another system. So the naturopath, in my opinion, would be the better system, but this is what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to remember that inside of you, you have a voice operating that knows your body better than the naturopath, knows your body better than the medical path, knows your body better than your friend. And if you will listen to your body, if you will listen to your thoughts, if you'll think about your thoughts, and you ask yourself the kind of thoughts you're having, and if you really start paying attention to your thoughts and you see, well, I'm good, I got positive thoughts, but yet you're sick of the dog, you might want to think and listen long enough to see, do you have a theme of thought going through that isn't as positive as you think? Do you have something that's triggering you from a season in life when maybe you were sick? Or maybe you were so depressed and so in grief that you didn't know what to do. So I just want to encourage you to listen to your own thoughts, reframe your own thoughts to be healthy. If you find a can't, well, then change it to I will. Now, like I can't, what I mean by that is I can't walk a 1 minute mile. Well, you know, you probably never will. But how about I can walk and I will walk? Take your thought life and start to recalibrate your thoughts so that you're regenerating your mind, your will, your emotions, your organs, and your health and your future. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm working on. So I'm just honestly just encouraging you to just join me in a journey of living life, moving forward instead of backwards. That's all. So I bless you guys. I hope you all had a chance to get what you needed from the messages. Thank you. Bless you. Much love to you. And they will also be in the Evolve group. And blessings to you all. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Loved it.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. That
Thank
was
you.
wonderful. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Donna.
Wonderful.
You're welcome. Bless you guys.
Thank you so much, Donna. Appreciated you.
You're welcome. See y'all next time.
Donna, where do we get a copy of today's call?
The Evolve group.
The
on
Evolve group
Facebook.
Telegram?
It will be live on the Evolve group where I place it, but also there will be, it'll be in, it's usually also in YouTube under Evolve.
And
Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
is it also in Telegram? Thank you so much, Donna. Is it also in Telegram?
It should be. I don't know who posts it there, but it's right now literally live in Facebook because my phone's there. So you can look for that and tag yourself.
Thank Juliana Dennis for reposting it in Telegram. She's the amazing reposter.
Amen to that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
oh, I need to end the recording. Sorry, guys. We're trying to be on In the Know. Let's shut this baby down. Stop recording. Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.